Hey guys, so this is a sight we like to see, huh? Well, looks like we have a new car to the collection, guys. As you guys saw in the sneak peek, we acquired a Chevrolet Lumina. And if you stay tuned to my Instagram, you already know a little bit more about this car, at least how it used to look like. I did start to strip it already. This is a 98 Chevrolet Lumina. And this is our 2021 demolition derby car. And as you guys can see, I already got the back pretty much stripped. But this car is very, very solid. Very, very solid, guys. This is by far the cleanest derby car I've ever had. And yes, you may say, oh, there's rust on the rockers, and there's rust, a little bit of rust right here. That is kind of deceiving, guys, because this car is clean. How many times do you see a Lumina bumper that's in this good a shape? I mean, it is just starting to get some surface on it. Just starting. Very, very solid bumper. I don't know whether I'm going to keep this bumper on here, but we'll see. These are like brand new tires, although they're quite dry rotted, so I'm going to end up probably putting these on the front, and we're going to derby this thing with probably aluminum rims. Only reason I say that is because my other derby tires, I think at least one of them might be kind of screwed, and one of them's custom grooved, and I will have to double check with the promoter, but I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to do that. You can see the dry rotting, and this tire is quite bad. So yeah, this tire is definitely ready to be off the road, but the front tires are in much well, they're in better shape. Not great, obviously. You can still see there is actually a decent amount of dry rot on these. Heck, maybe I'll derby all these tires. This one's starting to go flat, but this one I think is the best out of all of them. This one looks to be in pretty darn good shape, other than a little bit, just a little bit of dry rot and a slow leak. This one I believe to be the worst, if I can find it here. Yeah, there's a big old crack developing there. So these tires are kind of screwed, but they're great on tread, perfect derby tires. I know the aluminum, I'd prefer not to have aluminum rims, but you know what, they're pretty tough. I've seen a lot of Luminas derbied with these rims, and they're pretty good. So let me go ahead and give you guys a look underneath. Look at that. Yes, the suspension may not be the cleanest, but look at this frame rail, guys. Yeah, there's a little bit of surface just starting, but for New York, this is actually not from New York, this car. You guys can see this car is very clean, and this is usually where they rot out, right here. Look at this. This thing is clean. This trailing arm, I mean, when do you see a trailing arm bolt in upstate New York look like that? You don't. This car is actually from New Jersey, and was belonged by an older gentleman. And I did not buy it off that older gentleman. He actually passed away, so rip. But I ended up getting this car off another gentleman who was going to try to put this thing on the road, but it was far too rough to be put back on the road. The gas lines and the brake lines are pretty rusty. But that's not really my concern with this car, because I didn't really care much, because everything else was clean enough to the point where it didn't matter. So I got this thing for a little bit more than what I would have wanted to pay for it if I could find the hood latch here. I'm so used to working on Toyotas, now I've forgotten where the hood latch is on these Luminas and these W bodies. You guys have it. The 3100, very similar, well actually it is the same exact motor that was in the 97 Century, and this motor also has the same exact issue that the Century had. If you guys can see, engine coolant is no longer engine coolant. And this one's actually bad enough to the point where if I tried to run it the way it is right now, it would probably blow up. So today, as much as it sucks, I'm gonna do the head gasket on this thing. Well, not only today, it's gonna take a couple of days, I imagine, but this thing is far too clean and far too, well, I guess just clean to not put at least some money, a little bit money and time into. I am going to be running it in bone stock demolition derby. I am not going to build this thing for any type of, you know, mod or anything. I don't want this car to go on that. Not against all those Camrys, that's for sure. Those Camrys will eat this thing alive even though it's a clean car. You guys can see there's the back of the subframe. Very nice subframe. Everything's very clean in there. So, just everything on this car is very clean. I mean, this car is in great shape. So, it does have, this is a catastrophe right here. I know this is starting to get a long video, but I got a lot to talk about in this car. I mean, it's just got a lot of stories to it. This window has been down for quite some time, so this interior is basically ruined. So I don't mind tearing it apart. As you guys can see, I've already torn the back out. And if anybody knows these Luminas pretty good, you know they love to rust. Right through here, there's not a single hint of rust coming through. Not at all. I looked through all throughout here, all throughout, no rust, nothing. Absolutely nothing. This car is extremely solid. There's the seam right there where they love to rust. Nothing. There's just some surface rust on that strut. Nothing up top. Even the gas hose down to the tank is really clean, and you just don't see that on these Luminas. You just don't. On this side, just as clean. The seal is beautiful. No rust at all. Just perfect. Gonna be very, I'm gonna try to use the back of this car actually quite some time. I think it's gonna be clean enough that I'm gonna be able to use it a lot. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be able to do with this trunk yet. This trunk is a big mystery yet. I'm not allowed to tuck the trunk lid if I want to run the rules I'm thinking about running, so that kind of sucks, but I'm just gonna have to tie it down really nicely and hope that it stays down. The back bumper, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the back bumper. If I'm allowed to pre-bend this car, I probably will keep that back bumper on. If I'm not, then I'll probably take it off and just hope for the best. I'm gonna try to ask the promoters to see if he'll let me at least notch this trunk. If pre-bending's not allowed, so be it, but at least to notch it. If I'm not allowed to notch this trunk and even pre-bend it, I might consider running somewhere else, or I might consider running it anyway and using the front most of the time, because I don't want this becoming an issue. I do have plenty of donuts for this thing, so at least I don't have to run the full-size tires on the back. Interior's coming along slowly. Believe it or not, today is Saturday the 17th. I believe today's the 17th. Next weekend is the 24th, and I kind of want to run because it's the same promoter for the 24th as August 5th, because this car was originally going to run on August 5th, but I was thinking maybe I'll run on the 24th, since that might be an easier time to do, at least in the day, because it just happens to be a little bit more convenient for me. But at least for the timing. As far as actually getting this car prepared, it's probably not going to happen, just looking realistically. I'm going to try to make it happen because this car is going to be relatively stock, or I should say very stock build. I'm not even allowed to weld the doors, guys, so I mean this car is going to be very stock build, but I do want to do the head gasket. But there you guys have it. Welcome this 1998 Chevrolet Lumina to the collection. It is by far the cleanest. It might be one of the cleanest Luminas I've ever seen, honestly, in my life. It probably is the cleanest Lumina I've ever seen. So I'm very excited to run this car. I hope you guys are excited, so stay tuned. More videos coming very soon with this car. I'm sure they're just going to be coming out constantly, so there you guys have it. And Like, comment, subscribe. Also stay tuned for the Toyota if you guys are interested in the 02 Toyota Camry. I'll have another video on that pretty soon. So, alright, well, I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye, everybody.